Jeff's Superscript is brought to you by Black Cat Comics and Collectibles. In my opinion, the best comic shop and clubhouse on the internet. Follow them at Black Cat Burbank on Instagram and join their claim sales on Tuesdays for new books and Fridays for back issues. And don't forget to ask about joining their Stray Cats Club for special perks.
Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books hitting Final Order Cutoff this upcoming Sunday, March 21st for DC, and Monday, March 22nd for everything else. Let's go ahead and start this video on a positive note and hit that like button, huh? Why don't you? I really do appreciate likes, so if you wouldn't mind, just go ahead and hitting that like button right now. That would be swell. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the books that I want to talk about that are hitting FOC this upcoming weekend. These are presented in no particular order at all. The first one I want to mention to you is Jules Verne's The Lighthouse from Image Comics. The description reads, "At the edge of the galaxy, there's a giant supercomputer known as the Lighthouse, the only brain powerful enough to navigate ships through a sargasso of naturally occurring wormholes, potentially cutting months or even years off a spaceship's journey. 3 humans, 1 alien, and a nanny-bot have manned the remote station for years in relative peace until the arrival of Captain Congre and his band of cutthroat pirates threatens the future of civilization and reveals that each of the Lighthouse crew has been hiding a shocking secret. He who controls the Lighthouse controls this part of the galaxy." Actually sounds pretty cool. I'm not extremely familiar with Jules Verne's writing. I know, of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but this one sounds like a really cool idea and concept and story, and I like these covers too. This might be something worth checking out, especially if you're a sci-fi fan. The next one I want to mention to you sounds like fun. It is called Jenny Zero. And I guess issue number 1 is called Party Monster. Here's the description. It says, "Meet Jenny Tetsuo, the hard-drinking, hard-partying daughter of beloved superhero Mega Commander Zero. After washing out as the military's top kaiju killer, Jenny Zero now lives the celebutante life with her hotel heiress and publicist's best friend, Dana Sheraton. But when the massive creatures return, Jenny must decide if she can sober up and save the world." From Dave Dwanch, Brock McKinney, and Superstar in the Making, Magenta King comes a new hero for a new decade. This is a fun story. I kind of like, these kind of less than heroic characters being thrust into the role of hero. It can be a fun thing. It's not original by any means, but it can be fun and it can be cool when done well. And this sounds like it could be fun. It might be worth checking out. The next one I want to mention to you is Kanto and the City of Giants. This is a 3-part series. It says, "Kanto has surprised, delighted, and moved readers with tales of the clockwork hero fighting for love, his people, and hope. In this special Kanto series, our titular hero reunites with the giant guardians of Dis, Fra, and Ba, as well as other friends and foes to recruit the kingdom of giants to his quests to defeat the Shrouded Man." This is something that I wanted to put on your radar because just recently, Kanto was optioned. It says co-creator and writer of Kanto... let me read this. Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith's Westbrook Studios have optioned rights to the graphic novel Kanto and are adapting the fantasy series as an animated feature. So the book, obviously, you want to have is the very first Kanto book if you're speccing on this and you're hoping that the animated feature, pops this story and this title into the stratosphere in value. But it's being optioned. That's cool. Maybe it's something that will kind of piques your interest a little bit. Maybe you want to start checking it out. This is new, and maybe this is a place to start for you. The next one I want to mention to you is Dark Hawk, Heart of Hawk, number 1 from Marvel Comics. It says, "Celebrate the 30th anniversary of the 90s hottest hero in 3 spectacular stories. First, an untold story from Dark Hawk's early days by creators Danny Fingerroth and Mike Manley. Then explore the winged hero's cosmic years by Dan Abnett and Andrea DeVito. Finally, find out what the future holds for Dark Hawk by Kyle Higgins and more." Well, if you're a member of the cult of Darkhawk, you're going to be all over this. I don't know if this is why Darkhawk #1 shot up in value recently, but people were scooping up Darkhawk, a book that was kind of like a laughingstock of collectors for the longest time. But recently Darkhawk 1 started increasing in value. It might have been because they heard about this. It might have been just because the cult of Darkhawk, as it is, just started scooping them up and started driving up the prices. Who knows? But some people are really big Darkhawk fans. If you're one of them, here you go. Here's one for you. The next book I want to mention to you is Guardians of the Galaxy #13 from Marvel Comics. This is written by Al Ewing, by the way. It says, "A new age of space starts here. They were soldiers, misfits, mercenaries, thieves, and a family. They were heroes, but times have changed. The galaxy no longer needs heroes. It needs superheroes. Now when the call goes forth, whether it's from a stranded team of planetary explorers or Emperor Hulkling and his Kree-Skull alliance, the Guardians of the Galaxy answer. The new age of space brings a new artist, new headquarters, new costumes, new teammates, and an all-new enemy you'll have to see to believe. Get on board, true believer. It's going to be the ride of your life." When you put that many all-news into the description of a book, it's worth at least paying attention to. If you like the idea of Guardians of the Galaxy, but maybe you haven't been reading the book, this might be a good jumping on point. I don't know how I'm going to proceed with this book. I'm going to keep a watchful eye out for it. But it might be something that might be fun and worth picking up and adding to your pull list this upcoming FOC. The next book I want to mention to you is a limited series, Spider-Man Spider's Shadow, 1 of 4. This is written by Chip Zdarsky. It says, "What if Peter Parker became Venom? Peter Parker once put on an alien suit that nearly destroyed his life, but what if he'd never taken it off? Ignoring every warning, Spidey embraces the dark symbiote. Haunted by terrible nightmares and exhausted by an endless barrage of bad guys, Peter can't seem to catch a break these days. So when the Hobgoblin attacks, he finds a hero at the end of his rope and vulnerable to new dark impulses. Spider-Man is about to change his rules, but is it truly Peter who is in charge? Creative powerhouses Chip Zdarsky, Pasquale Ferry, and Matt Hollingsworth bring you a terrifying tale of a Peter Parker possessed and on the edge." Well, as far as spec potential for this book is concerned, as far as potential second market value is concerned, it is unlikely that this limited series will have any of that. But as far as solid, awesome reads are considered, this one has a lot of it. It's a great idea, a great kind of what-if tale, and done by a great writer, Chip Zdarsky. As a kind of side note, but a related side note, Chip Zdarsky got on my radar when I heard people talking about, with reverence, a book called Spider-Man, Life Story, where he basically took Spider-Man and aged him through the decades, aged him normally decade after decade after decade, and told a life story of Spider-Man. I haven't read this, but I really, really want to because I've heard that it's very, very good. And I mention that because this title, this Spider-Man Spider's Shadow, sounds like something that could be similarly awesome, in its kind of what-if Spider-Man capacity. So this might be one you add to your pull list, and definitely pull, if you're going to pull it, pull all 3 issues. Don't just pull one, pull all 3. The next book I want to mention to you is Thor, #14. I mentioned this one because it is the end of this storyline with Donald Blake. And with Donny Cates, I have to imagine that the end of this storyline will present some pretty cool things. I've really liked this Donald Blake story, so I expect the end of it to have some significance to it. Maybe not major significance, but something pretty cool and something fairly significant I think will come out of it. Also, there's the possibility it's going to tee up the next story arc from Donny Cates. And frankly, I've been hearing very little about Thor and the next storyline from Thor. Everybody's talking about Venom, but I don't hear much about Thor. And I still think there is a ton of potential from this title and from Donny Cates in this title. So this might be one to check out and keep your eye on and consider adding to your pull this week. And frankly, Thor should already be on your pull. Thor has been a great read, even when it had a ton of spec potential with the Black Winter, even when it hasn't had a ton of spec potential, it's really been an enjoyable, awesome read. So I would recommend adding it any issue. The next one I want to mention to you is Proctor Valley Road, #2 from Boom Studios. This is another one that is basically, I just have my eye out on it, and I think that you should have your eye out on it as well. In a previous FOC video, I said the same kind of thing about Nocterra #2. I thought Nocterra #1 was really, really good, and I think there's potential out there for the series continuing. And similar with Proctor Valley Road, I would recommend not necessarily turning a blind eye to even issue #2 and moving on forward from that for Proctor Valley Road. It's just, I don't know, it's a gut feeling about this one more than anything else. The next book I want to mention to you is Doctor Who Missy. From Titan Comics for all you Doctor Who fans. It says, celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Master with a brand new comic and the debut of the Doctor's deadliest adversary. Missy wages war on the 3rd and 12th Doctors. Can they stop her from executing her lethal plot? Announced on Doctor Who official social media, 5 million fans. So, listen, this is a book. I tried to get into Doctor Who, frankly, and I just realized, oh my gosh, there's like hundreds and hundreds of episodes of Doctor Who. And I was like, I can't go there. But for those of you who are Doctor Who fans, I applaud you. I respect you. I know that the Doctor Who fans are big Doctor Who fans. You definitely want to know that this book is coming out, and you definitely want to make sure that you get it on New Comic Book Day. This next one is an interesting one. It is Man Goat and Bunny Man, #1 of 3. It's a limited series of 3 from Xenoscope Entertainment Incorporated. It says, Bigfoot, the Jersey Devil, the Loch Ness Monster are all age-old folklore fodder, but could they actually be real? In recent years, the myth of Man Goat and Bunny Man has grown locally, and many have claimed sightings of the two unique creatures, yet no concrete evidence exists. And that's exactly how they want it. Dealing with the things nightmares are made of so we don't have to. Deranged mutants, satanic cults, demons, summer vacationers. Mangoat and the Bunny Man protect us from the evils that hide in plain sight. But they don't want your adoration, they just want to be left alone. Don't miss the action-packed first issue of this genre-bending horror comedy from the Sick Bastards at Xenoscope. Okay, well this is for your FOC dose of the ridiculous. If you're looking for something, just a horror comedy, something that just sounds like fun and ridiculous and is silly, this might be a book for you to check out this week. The next one I want to mention to you is Minky Woodcock, the girl who electrified Tesla, #1. The description reads, Titan's best-selling hard case crime series is back. A stylish, glamorous, feminist take on the classic gumshoe. Private investigator Minky Woodcock becomes involved in an investigation of maverick genius and reclusive pigeon fancier Nikola Tesla, and discovers a horrifying conspiracy involving corrupt politicians and Nazis, created by award-winning artist, author, director, and playwright Cynthia Von Bueller. This one, I may have not read the description very clearly to you, but this one actually sounds pretty cool and pretty interesting. And I really like the covers for this. I just find it intriguing, and it could be a cool kind of detective story with a twist. This is one that if you're interested in kind of a fresh story from your comics, it's not a horror, it's not a superhero. This might be a cool story worth checking out. And the fact that it's written by a playwright, I mean, writing plays is tricky, a little bit from a story standpoint. You really have to understand character and storytelling. So I think if you're interested in a character-based story in your comic book, this might be a cool one to check out. The next one I want to mention to you is Phantom on the Scan from Aftershock Comics. The description reads, 20 years ago, a comet fell to Earth. Since that night, Matthew has been haunted by a spirit that gives him incredible psychic abilities. But these abilities come with a price, and the payment is due. Every time Matthew uses his gifts, he draws closer to death and other psychics, all of whom gained their powers on the night the comet fell, are dying in the most horrible of ways. To save himself, Matthew gathers a group of psychics to solve the mystery of their powers before it's too late. So this story itself didn't sound especially exciting and interesting to me until I saw the name Cullen Bunn. And this is a writer's name who I see over and over and over and over and over again. So it made me kind of give it a little bit extra special attention. If you are a Cullen Bunn fan, or you kind of like the idea of this story, this is something you might want to check out. This next one's a fun one. It is Batman and ScoobyDoo Mysteries #1. It says it's an all-new, all-ages series that teams the Dark Knight with Scooby-Doo and the Sleuths of Mystery, Inc. When Batman discovers his original purple gloves have gone missing, Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby-Doo travel back in time to Batman's Year One era to solve the case. Will this glove story have a happy ending? Okay, so listen, as an adult, even this sounds like a fun read. But if you have a kid that you might want to give a comic book to or have them check out comic books, this might be a fun, cool one to do. And it's also only $2.99, so the price point is right as well. But listen, I think that this is a good book for kids of all ages. Because even I am kind of like, think it's kind of fun and funny, this premise. So it's something you might want to consider checking out. The next book I want to mention to you is Batman, the Detective, #1. It says, an epic tale begins that will take Batman on a harrowing, action-packed European adventure in a new miniseries by superstar creators Tom Taylor and Andy Kubert. It's a 6-part, by the way. A horrific tragedy in the United Kingdom sends a very personal and deadly message to the Dark Knight, one that will draw Batman out of Gotham City to investigate. From the moment he lands in Europe, Batman will face a difficult investigation and unheard of adversaries and find the assistance of a partner once more, all in the hunt for the villain known as Equilibrium. New villains, new allies, a thrilling overseas adventure begins for the Dark Knight, starting with an extra-sized 26-page debut story. These kind of special Batman tales are sometimes like the most interesting thing and the least interesting thing to me, all wrapped up into one. This one falls somewhere in the middle for me. The fact that it's going to have new villain in it makes it kind of interesting to me. I'm not quite sure. It's always one of those things that could be so amazing. There are so many amazing kind of Batman limited stories and side stories, and some that aren't as amazing. If you're a really big Batman fan, you're going to pick this up. And some people are like, oh, I'll wait and pick it up in trade if I hear it's really good. I'll probably fall into that category. But even still, you might consider keeping your eye on it and seeing when the first appearance of this new villain that they refer to pops up, and maybe you scoop up just that one just to kind of have in your collection, just in case there's some kind of secondary market value. Otherwise, you're going to collect them all, or you're going to pick it up in trade. And the last book I am going to mention to you today is Challenge of the Super Sons. This is a limited series of 7. It says, the boys are back. Picking up where the sensational adventures of the Super Sons left off, the sons of Batman and Superman are back in the spotlight and ready to give evil a good spanking. But are Robin and Superboy in over their heads this time? A mysterious woman from beyond time has appeared to the DCU's favorite sons, and her arrival heralds certain doom. That's a hint, everyone. I don't get the hint, by the way, of things to come. In fact, it seems she sent the boys on a bogus journey that they've already returned from. Huh? What did the boys learn when they were whisked away? Why on earth do they have to save the Flash from instant death? Tune in for the first chapter of the most epic Odyssey Robin and Superboy have ever been on. So once again, it says, a mysterious woman from beyond time has appeared to the DCU's favorite sons, and her arrival heralds certain doom. That's a hint, everyone, of things to come. Certain doom of things to come. Certain doom. That's a hint. I don't know what that means. If you know what that means, put it down in the comments, please, because you're way more versed in these characters and what they're referring to, and maybe the DC universe, than I am. I'd love to hear if that hint makes sense to you down in the comments. Other than that, I don't know what to think about this book. I don't know what to think about these characters. They aren't ones that I really care about at all, so I frankly don't really care about this series at all. But it is a limited series of 7. If it was something that you're interested in, it's a pretty... I kind of like these limited series sometimes because it's like, you know what, I can try it out. It's only 7 issues. It's going to end. It's not going to go on for 5 years, and it's just not going to be, you know, something that I have to pay for perpetually. It'll end in a scant 7 months. So you check that out if that works for you. Anyways, that's all the books that I wanted to point out this week. It was, you know, a decent amount of them. Let me know down in the comments if any of these books interested you. If you heard about one and you're like, oh, I didn't know about that one. Thanks for mentioning that one. I'm going to put it on my poll. Or if it's like, oh yeah, Jeff, I knew about this one that you mentioned months ago. I'm all over it. That's my favorite pick of the bunch. Put that down in the comments as well. I'd like to know which books from this list interest you the most. Once again, if you didn't already hit that like button and you think I earned it, I think I earned it, then go ahead and hit that like button now. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, the subscribe guy is a very fun way to do that. So hit him in the face right now. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you're informed when I post new videos. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.